This is part B of the KhoodeelaarTV television channel, broadcasting under the banner of Baby Angel Geronimo Manifesto editions. Part B, timed at 17:30 GMT on Saturday, 4th of May 2024. The results of the election for the post of mayor at the expense of the people of London have now been confirmed, and Sadiq Khan has been given the credit for winning a third term. He was first elected in 2016. At that election, Sadiq Khan was subjected to the heaviest, severest possible racist and anti-Muslim campaign done by his rival as the Conservative candidate, Zach Goldsmith. And Zach Goldsmith's campaign of anti-Muslim hatred and vilification was aided and abetted openly, brazenly by the criminal, congenital liar Boris Johnson. It has been said today during the last hour, and this will be repeated, but it has been said that Sadiq Khan got a narrow victory, but it's not a narrow victory. He has got 10% plus advantage over the Conservative, Susan Hill or Hall, another racist moron. Now, the election of Sadiq Khan shows that the Conservatives don't understand London. That doesn't mean that the Labour Party understands the metropolitan city of London or its population any better, but it is a fact that the racist campaign that was launched against Sadiq Khan in 2016 by Zach Goldsmith, aided and abetted by the former Conservative mayor at the expense of London, Boris Johnson, that campaign actually has not been forgotten. And it actually did pay electoral advantage to Sadiq Khan at the next election, which was delayed because of the COVID-19. And it was held in 2021, I think. And that also had an effect. The effect I refer to is, of course, the anti-Muslim campaign aimed at Sadiq Khan. The fact that congenital liar, anti-Muslim, shaitan, Boris Johnson, the evilness, has been personally discredited by more conservatives than non-conservatives over the role that he played while he was incumbent in the post of both mayor the second time and also as prime minister. Although the bureaucracy that looked into Boris Johnson's behavior while he was having adulterous sex with Jennifer Arcuri, and who was given public subsidies while he was having sex with her, adulterous sex. This has been ruled as not a wrong. That shows the corruption that rules the British state, local state, which, just as a reference, I cite the case of the London Metropolitan Police repeatedly refusing to prosecute Lutfur Rahman for the corruption in Tower Hamlets Council, the corruption via Tower Hamlets Council that Lutfur Rahman perpetrated. Since his so-called re-election in 2022, Lutfur Rahman has become the focus of UK Central Government Department, which has repeated the exercise of sending so-called inspectors that was first brought into practice by Eric the Pickles during 2014. In two issues of the fortnightly Private Lie, Lutfur Rahman's corruption since 2022 has been highlighted, and the highlight refers to Lutfur Rahman's so-called Aspire party. 5 sitting councillors sitting on the current have been named in a judicial application submitted by an applicant for license renewal, entertainment license renewal, Santosh Nair. Now, Santosh Nair's application for renewal of a license, entertainment license, names 5 of Lutfur Rahman's Aspire party councillors. Additionally, Lutfur Rahman has been reported as having been told about these crooks and also other corruption in Tower Hamlets Council since the 2022 election. But according to the Private Eye version, which interpreted the judicial submissions, Lutfur Rahman chose to ignore the incidents that have been brought to his attention. Now, the fact is that Lutfur Rahman himself is a crook. He is the leading crook of the group. So it is absurd to expect Lutfur Rahman to take any notice of this information, because to say that he was told about the others' corruption gives him a space which he doesn't deserve. The space being that he is not as corrupt as the others. Now, Lutfur Rahman is a crook. His entire regime is corrupt, has been corrupt, and is bound to be corrupt, as I said in 2010. I said in 2010 that the creation of the elected mayor post at the expense of the people of Tower Hamlets was bound to create new corruption through and via and in Tower Hamlets Council, and consequently discredit the Bangladeshi community. The Bangladesh, quote, Liberation Fund was raised in 1971 in the United Kingdom. One of the main organizers of the campaign was my late father, but he didn't engage in a business. But at least 20 of the people involved in the raising of the funds ended up appearing as owners of restaurants for which they had never before had any record of having enough capital. And the Bangladesh fund was stolen. So that was 1971. To steal money from the fund named after the liberation war for Bangladesh was the lowest of the low. And these criminals who stole the money were later treated by the other Bangladeshis who knew about their thefts as some kind of venerable people. These crooks, none of them faced accountability. So that was what? That was 53, 54 years ago. Crooks that are supposedly raising funds for in the name of the Bangladesh liberation effort in 1971, during 1971, stole money. Then there is this issue of the First Solution crooks. The First Solution crooks stole money from the most hard-working Bangladeshi migrants. And due to the intervention of George Git Galloway, our campaign in 2006 and 7 to get the money back from the criminals was sabotaged. That shows the extent of the idiocy of George Git Galloway. Complete stupid. But then he is not only stupid, but he is also greedy. He was witnessed repeatedly at the Club Row address of the so-called Respect Party during his tenure as Member of Parliament for Bethnal Green and Bow during 2005 and 2010, as opening envelopes sent by all kinds of people to that address to Respect, opening the envelopes and neatly taking the check out of the envelope and putting it straight into his pocket. It happened on dozens and dozens and dozens of times. George Git Galloway is a greedy, dishonest individual. When he was at the center of the controversy in the war on want in which he became involved, Galloway was accused of stealing money, hiding money. The BBC Newsnight program did an extensive, up to that point in time, that is about, let's say in the last 2 decades, the BBC Newsnight did a program investigating George Git Galloway's receipt of money from sources including Pakistan's late Prime Minister Benazir Bhutto. Now, in contrast with the Newsnight program, George Galloway actually took defamation action against the Daily Telegraph group. And the Telegraph group was found to have defamed him, and it was ordered to pay him money. Whereas Git Galloway never took defamation action against the BBC Newsnight, which made 10 times more serious allegations against Galloway than the Telegraph had done. And also Galloway lost the live election in Bradford. So Tower Hamlets, in terms of the public kind of platforms, public personas, has been associated with corrupt behavior, past and recent, by incumbents in posts or seekers of posts at the expense of the people of Tower Hamlets electorate. So when Boris Johnson was condemned by the London Assembly for abusing his position in giving or supporting or aiding the application of his adulterous mistress, Jennifer Arcuri, that was a credible criticism. But Johnson has not been prosecuted for that, as has Lutheraman not been prosecuted for his corruption and criminality. But the fact that Boris Johnson was condemned by the likes of Peter Oborne, who called him the liar, well, they were not the first ones to call him the liar. They were among the people who called him the liar. It didn't help the cause of the Conservatives politically. The stain remains. When the then owner of the Harrods department store in Knightsbridge in London bribed Conservative MPs, including Neil Hamilton. This was publicized and published by The Guardian at the time in a series of bribery by Fayed never left the Conservatives. And I think that the prediction today, so far, this is now 17:38 hours I'm speaking, and the prediction is that the Conservatives are now going to be in the wilderness for 10 years. I don't think that is correct. I think that the corruption in the Conservative Party and the criminality and other things that they have covered up over the last 13, 14 years, that will become known more extensively if they actually lose the election, which has to happen before the end of January 2025. And when that happens, the impact will linger on for longer than 10 years, which says that the British democracy is a corruptocracy. It's a corruptocracy beyond description, because although Tony Blair got hold of the so-called landslide in 1997, after he left office, it has been exposed that he is a crook of such magnitude in terms of the money that he has received. No comparison. No other former holder of the post of Prime Minister of the United Kingdom comes anywhere near the crooked bulge in the pockets of Tony Blair. He has received in kind and in cash in excess of £1 billion, more than £1 billion. So the political murderer of the Labour Party, Keir Starmer, if he becomes the incumbent in the post of Prime Minister at the expense of the Labour Party, the political murderer will have to become the repenter, the endless perennial repenter. Now, today's Times newspaper, London, owned by Rupert Murdoch, has got a book review. I think there is a book review and other reviews that amount to the Times newspaper writers elevating Jeremy Corbyn and Diane Abbott to the template faces for what they describe as the left in the United Kingdom. Well, neither Corbyn nor Diane Abbott can be described as genuinely intelligent representatives of what amounts to socialism. And them in a collective description of the left that includes Tony Benn the liar. Tony Benn the liar is reported in that review as having said that at his age he still received death threats. Apparently, it isn't stated expressly as I am going to say it. But obviously he would have done that, he would have said that with a chuckle. Because what he said next would have anticipated the chuckle. He said that the fact that he got death threats meant that he was still relevant. What a very stupid thing to say. Death threats cannot be the criterion for relevance, political relevance. Anyway, as I have extensively discussed in previous editions, Tony Benn was a liar, self-opportunist, and the fact that he is a liar is shown in the fact that his elder son, Stephen, is now Viscount Stansgate in the House of Peers, replacing Tony Benn himself, which exposes as a lie Tony Benn's boasts when he allegedly staged the renunciation of the Stansgate title and in order to become eligible to stand as a member of parliament. He wasn't opposing the peerage. He was only opportunistically abusing it. We shall be continuing the commentary on the election results. This is now 23 minutes, few seconds, ending at 17:44 hours GMT, part B of the Khoodeelaar television channel, broadcasting under the banner of Baby Angel Geronimo Manifesto editions on Saturday, 4th of May 2024.